Now, the extradition of Mozambique's former finance minister, Manuel Chang, has once again been halted, at least for now. The extradition, by the way, to Mozambique. That's pending an urgent application brought by Mozambique's Budget Monitoring Forum, who believe Chang will not face the full might of the law back in his home country. They want him, rather, to face charges for his implicated involvement in the $2 billion loan scandal in the United States instead. And there he's got a standing indictment against him. Let's speak now to the chairman of the Budget Monitoring Forum. That's Adriano Nuvunga. Adriano, good afternoon. You were in Joburg on Friday when the court application was heard in the Johannesburg High Court. A day before, here on eNCA, spoke to your lawyers, Ian Levitt, and who told us that they were confident about winning this case. So what happened in court on Friday? What can you tell us today?
Good afternoon. Thank you very much. What happened on Friday is that the Johannesburg High Court has ruled that Mr. Chang remains in custody until the 17th of September. In reality, what the court has done is to effectively interdict Justice Minister Ronald Lamola from sending Chang until the court had reviewed the minister's decision to extradite Chang to Mozambique. And this means Chang remains in custody. And on the 17th of September, there are three possibilities. Number one is that the court, it upholds Lamola's decision to extradite Mr. Chang to Mozambique, or the court would decide instead to extradite him to the United States of America to face charges, or alternatively, the court could send the matter back to Lamola to reconsider his decision of extraditing Mr. Chang to Mozambique. In our view, as FMO, we believe that Chang will not face real justice in Mozambique. And his sending here to Mozambique, it will serve impunity, not justice. Three elements for that. Number one is that he was only indicted after he was arrested in OR Tambo, Johannesburg, in December 2017. So when he left Mozambique and wrote to Dubai and arrested in Johannesburg, there was no case against him. So secondly, he is not a defendant in the ongoing trial in Maputo. And third, by law, he cannot be a declarant in a case in relation to which he will at a later stage become a defendant. So those who posit the view that sending Mr. Chang back to Mozambique, it will help to clarify this case, that is not accurate. Not only it's not accurate, but also it's not lawful.
Yeah, because he's not been charged. He's not been charged in Mozambique with anything. A trial has begun last week. He's not part of it. So for him to be part of it, he's going to have to be charged appropriately. But you doubt that he'll face the full might of the law. Just from our viewers' perspective, remind us again, Adriano, why does the Budget Monitoring Forum, all those Mozambican civil society organizations that you are leading, believe there will be justice served in the United States in this $2 billion hidden debt scandal?
Indeed. There are two important aspects here. If you look at the group that is being tried now, this group is only responsible for a fraction of the $2 billion scheme. Mr. Chang, he was responsible for penning the guarantees that led for the whole scheme to go forward. And in so doing, he colluded with foreign interests, and including Mr. Bostani, that he was tried in New York last year. So it is important that Mr. Chang He responds to the crimes that he has committed, leading to the overall fraud. But more importantly, in trying Chang in United States, it will lead to two things. Number one, to relevant information that will lead to the biggest chunk of the money that is missing from the Kroll forensic audit report. So the Kroll forensic audit reports, it points out that there is more than $500 million that is unaccounted for. Only
so that
Mr.
could have been, yeah, so that
relevant info.
So that could be that $500 million that's missing could have been maybe bribes. So what do you say? What does the forum say about Credit Suisse's role? Because I've seen reports elsewhere saying that Credit Suisse should also be charged because apparently some Credit Suisse investment officers or executives, they colluded, that's the allegation, with the likes of Manuel Chang and those who are on trial in Maputo.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. That's why I'm saying trying Manuel Chang in the US, it will generate relevant information that can lead for where the more than $500 million was hidden. Number two, if Mr. Chang is convicted in the US, that piece of information is relevant for Mozambique to be exempted from paying back the $2 billion to Credit Suisse. And not only that, it will allow Mozambique.
Yeah, because it will then, if he's found guilty, it will nullify the guarantees that he signed on behalf of the state without going to Parliament for approval. Hence, the term is the hidden debt scandal, because he never declared and asked Mozambican Parliament's approval. Now, finally, before I let you go, because of time, week one of this trial that's happening in Mozambique. I've seen it being reported on as the biggest corruption trial in the history of Mozambique. Mr. Chang is not part of it. His extradition still hangs in the balance. We'll find out, as you said, from the Johannesburg High Court on the 17th of September. But meanwhile, 19 individuals, including the son of the former president, Armando Guebuza, is currently underway in Maputo. Your view, very briefly, Adriano, of the trial. How has it started? Are you confident as an anti-corruption forum that the trial in Maputo will result in something?
It is unprecedented. It is good that the 19 are being tried, that are facing the dock. But looking at the amount of money that they are being held responsible for, you clearly can say that although they are high-profile people, but they are still not the big fish. And the big fish here would be the former president, Armando Guebuza, the then Minister of Finance, who is currently the president of Mozambique. So although the judge is confident, he's performing very well his functions, but this is not necessarily the big fish that are facing the dock.
Okay, no, we're going to have to leave it there. Adriano Nuvunga, everybody says the big fish is the former president. Armando Emilio Guebuza is the former defense minister who currently is Mozambique's president. That's Felipe Nyusi. And of course, Manuel Chang, who's currently sitting in a prison in Johannesburg here in Gauteng, and his extradition is hanging in the balance. That decision is going to be made by the Johannesburg High Court on the 17th of September. That's the latest we have there from Adriano Nuvunga.